vehicle as soon as possible. It's in the car park. But the owner of the Sierra Estate, registration number D4.
Well, here we are at Norton Park for the first round of the Lancashire Cup, and Widnes' opponents today are Carlisle, all the way down from the border. Not a great crowd here, but fairly nice conditions. A little bit windy down at pitch level, but otherwise excellent conditions for rugby league. And the Widnes team for this afternoon: number 1, Jonathan Davis; 2, Andy Currier; 3, Stuart Spruce; 4, Darren Wright; 5, Adrian Hadley; and 6, a welcome return of Tony Myler; 7 is David Hume. And the Widnes pack: number 8 is Harvey Howard; 9 is Paul Hume; 10, Senior for Milo; 11, Paul Moriarty; 12, Rich Years; 13, Les Holiday. Widnes substitutes: 14 is Steve McCurry, and 15 is Kurt Sorensen. And the Widnes team comes out onto the pitch. I'll just give you the Carlisle team. Number 1 is Simon Knox; 2, Kevin Fox; 3, Kevin Pape; 4, Steve George Ellis; 5, Grant Harris; 6, Eddie Southwell; and 7, Clayton Friend. And the Carlisle pack is number 8, Ian Armstrong; 9, Malcolm Thomason; 10, George Graham; 11, Barry Williams; 12, Peter Lunt; and 13, Gary Charlton. Carlisle substitutes: 14 is Phil Manning; 15, Tony Scott. So Jonathan Davis prepares to get the game underway for Widnes with a high kick. That's a good kick from Davis towards the corner flag, well taken by Kevin Fox on the Carlisle right wing. Great start for the season so far for Widnes. Spoken to a couple of supporters around town who for some reason don't seem to be that bothered about watching the Chemics this season after last season's so-called lean spell, although when you think about it, only Wigan, St Helens, Widnes and Castleford, if you include the Yorkshire Cup, they were the only teams to win anything at all. So put it in that perspective, it wasn't such a bad season. Nifty footwork by Simon Knox, but he still doesn't manage to escape from danger. I think Carlisle now will look to kick, and there goes the kick, but well, in the end it turned out to be a good one. Almost looked as if it was about to go straight out, but just bounced in front of Hadley. Hadley wisely allows it to bounce and go into touch. David Hume back in his old familiar position of scrum half today in the absence of Bobby Golding. Golding with that, well, somewhat harsh 2-match penalty for the incident against Castleford, which was highlighted on a number of occasions by television, and that allows space for the return of Tony Myler. I'm sure that coach Phil Larder will be hoping to use this game, although by no means taking it for granted, but hoping to use this game to give Myler a chance to get back into first team match fitness. Golding, of course, may not have been eligible to play anyway had he not received that ban, because he did get concussion in that game up at Hull KR last week and a nasty knock to the head. But it's Widnes on the attack. Hume does a run around. That's a great ball, and is Rich Years going to score? Well, I thought for a minute that Ayres was going to score his 6th try. He scored 5 tries so far in 4 games, a great record to date for the second row, and Myler there keeps the ball alive. Currier's coming off the wing, the ball just goes behind Moriarty, and Moriarty uses his old rugby union skills there and falls on the ball safely on the ground. Currier again back in the action. Harvey Howard, and turnover, so Widnes not able to make much of that spell of 6. Big defence has been the order of the day so far for Widnes. Excellent defence against Castleford and against Hull KR. And as Phil Larder so rightly says, that's what the basis for any victory has got to be, built on defence. Widnes' cross-line defence has been solid, and when that's been breached, the cover defence has been excellent also. But Carlisle look to move the ball about, and I'm sure that they'll be looking for a respectable score. Last tackle on, they're going to get caught with the ball in their own half if they're not careful. Just managing to keep the ball alive. The kick comes in by Simon Knox. Straight to Davis. Davis with space to move, looks for the outside. Just caught by the ankles. Now Hadley takes up the running. Great prospect for Widnes. Carlisle penalised. Adrian Hadley made 2 of those tries against Hull KR the other week. One for Richie Ayres, the first one, down the left-hand corner, and then that one off the quick. Played the ball and he tapped it to himself. Sent Steve McCurry racing in. Yet to score himself in the season proper, but I'm sure that will come, and we may see the floodgates open once it does. Milo unable to find a gap in the Carlisle defence. Hume. Holiday throws a dummy in, and Holiday puts his head back. He's got Moriarty in support, but he doesn't need Moriarty. Slips the ball to Stuart Spruce, and there's the first score of the afternoon, 7 minutes into the game. Simple, basic rugby league by Widnes. Opens the score in. Stuart Spruce goes in. David Hume just moved the ball out to the right hand side, and Paul Moriarty was in support. Eventually Moriarty was missed out. The long ball out to Spruce went in with that familiar sidestep which he's developed so well. 4 points to 0 for Widnes. So Widnes organise for the kick. Not the greatest of kicks, straight to Jonathan Davis in fact, and Les Holiday comes into that one, pushes Widnes out past the 20-metre line, but Holiday knocks on in the tackle. Pitches now, you may have noticed the slightly different pitch markings. The Rugby League have changed it to every 10 yards, so we have a 10-yard line and a 20-metre line, and it's marked all the way up to the halfway line. And also 10 metres in from touch is marked virtually all the way along the pitch now to help the referees gauge the distances. Good spell of attack from Carlisle, but the ball just going loose there. Dylan Wright. Hume to Milo, but Milo hit with a big one by the Carlisle number 8, Ian Armstrong. And once again Carlisle penalised for offside. They're going to make the job exceptionally difficult for themselves if they don't show some discipline. Widnes decide to move the ball through the hands. Myler keeps the ball alive. Hume just makes a few more metres before being brought to ground. Courier's got it in a gap. Courier's going to put his head down and go for the corner. There's no support for Courier. Stuart Spruce came late on the inside. Good cover tackle, but Widnes now with a chance to move the ball long to the left. Quick hands should do it. There's an overlap. Well, Dylan Wright couldn't hang on to that one. Not really a need for that to happen. It could have gone through the hands. Widnes did have an overlap. Hadley was outside on the wing waiting to pounce, but the long ball to Dylan Wright just couldn't be held by the centre. Carlisle with one or two familiar names, not least Clayton Friend, the Kiwi, and also you may recognise Steve George Ellis, plays for Eastern Suburbs in Sydney, and Barry Williams, Workington born, number 11, but played for Wales by virtue of the fact that he went there for the holiday once, or something similar to that. I think his parents, one of his parents had a Welsh connection. Played last season. So not without some talent in this Carlisle side. Kevin Pape, the captain himself, has scored 141 tries in 252 appearances, which is no mean feat for, especially at a club with such a relative lack of success as Carlisle. Also represented Cumbria against a number of international teams, including the New Zealanders. And a chance again for Carlisle to test. Jonathan Davis with a high ball, it swirls in the wind. Davis, well, was hit there without possession. A big hit on Davis, but he didn't have the ball. The referee shouted that they were all onside. Adrian Hadley tackled slightly high maybe, but the ball covered. Paul Hume gives a short ball to Holiday, but that's good tackling by the Carlisle loose forward Gary Charlton. 2 big hits. And Widnes finding it difficult to break out of that 20-metre line. Paul Hume takes it on from the half-back himself, spins out of one tackle, and the final tackle for Widnes. Moriarty, well, a terrible pass by Paul Moriarty, straight from the ground. Jonathan Davis picks up and he's pushed into dead. Moriarty not happy with himself for that one, although perhaps lack of organisation in the Widnes attack, because one wouldn't expect the big second row to be behind the play of the ball anyway. So Jonathan Davis forced to drop out under the sticks. High ball taken well by Friend. So another set of 6. Widnes almost left the gap. The Widnes line moved to the right hand side, but the Carlisle player the winger went for the gap, and a penalty for the high tackle. Not sure, Mr. Connolly not indicating who is penalised. It's either for Milo or Harvey Howard, and Carlisle decide to go for the 2 points. Paul Hume just attempting to organise his defence there. The 2 Humes encouraging the players to step up a gear. And well, that's a terrible kick. I'm sure that Barry Williams will be disappointed with that. It was a chance to put Carlisle back in the hunt. But the dropout by Davis, it's a good long one over the defence, picked up by Kevin Fox. Fox straight to Holiday. Not the biggest of crowds, but I must say the ground has filled up slightly. There's a virtually empty 15 minutes before the game. It looked almost like an A-team crowd, but people, I guess, realising that they wouldn't have to queue up, left it till the last minute. Davis takes that kick well on the bounce, but the Carlisle line comes up well. Good defence by the visitors. Hadley behind the play of the ball. Mr. Connolly there just having a word. I think it was Darren Wright who shouted offside. Mr. Connolly tells him in his broad accent to shut it. David Hume steps into the gap, almost steps again, just couldn't get the ball out there to Tony Myler in support. Holiday to Moriarty, a big hit again by Gary Charlton. Moriarty spins out and it's the final tackle for Widnes. Davis is there waiting, kicks it deep, bounces awkwardly but well taken eventually by Simon Knox, and he evades the first tackle. Stuart Spruce goes down injured as he makes that tackle, holds his knee I think, and Carlisle find the gap as 4 Widnes players converged on the touchline. The ball comes out and there's a chance here for Carlisle. Davis 1-to-1, good cover by Tony Myler, and Adrian Hadley also back there as Peter Lunt looked to take on Davis. That's a great sidestep though, and the ball inside. Good support play Long ball, dummy, the inside ball almost there to Fox. Fifth tackle, Carlisle, will they move it? The cross kick comes in, well picked up by Moriarty. He's got to break the line, he doesn't. And this is a good spell for Carlisle, putting Widnes under some pressure. So Jonathan Davis forced to drop out there as Moriarty was caught behind the line. And gives, oh well, I think that was a miss. Man there was the intention, but really any player of any calibre should be ready to take the ball, even if he is the dummy. And the Carlisle player did look a bit of a dummy there as he ran with his hands out. The ball bounced off his chest. Possession goes to Widnes, and Mr. Connolly penalises one of the Carlisle props for not keeping his head down. Davis takes a tap to Spruce. Spruce can't step outside his marker. Paul Guimers comes charging in. Fired up this season. Vittiers made a great start to the campaign. Myler, Holiday, great ball to Darren Wright. Wright steps inside. Hadley again behind the play of the ball, keen to get in on the action. Fourth tackle for Widnes, 2 to go. He's lining himself up to the left. The ball goes to Harvey Howard. Harvey Howard can't knock off the tackle, and it's the final one. Again, good defence by Carlisle. Hume, short ball to Holiday. Holiday just can't hold it. The loose ball pounced on by a Carlisle player. Home of Dean Bell, of course, Carlisle, when he first came over to attempt to make his way into English Rugby League. Carlisle was the place that he headed for. And it's gone on, of course, to become one of the best centres in the game at the day. So the game just simmering at the moment. I'm sure the Widnes crowd expecting the Widnes to boil over and open the floodgates, but Carlisle will have other ideas about that, although again another penalty given away. But once again put themselves under pressure. I'm sure they'll be looking to avoid anything like the score that St Helens once notched up against them in the Lancashire Cup, the biggest defeat in Carlisle's history, 112 points to nil at Knowsley Road. Harvey Howard burst through, that's a great burst by Howard. Sets up a chance for Widnes, and another penalty interfering at the play of the ball. And Jonathan Davis comes up and will settle for the 2 points. Carlisle substitute warming up. Can't see which number it is because although snazzy as this kit may be, the numbers are very difficult to see. A red number on a blue background. It's number 15, in fact, Tony Scott. Just warming up on the sidelines as Jonathan Davis tees this one up. So that's it, 24. And Davis slots that one over. No mistake, 6 points to nil for Widnes. So what will that be, 4 minutes onto the second tape? Andy. Is that 4 minutes onto the second tape then?
Yeah. 5 in between. 5.
actually see a board being held up for the substitution. Good long kick. Moriarty shouts to Davis to leave the ball and then almost stands on the Widnes full back, and again Carlisle give away a needless penalty. Nothing to be gained from that. I'm sure Paul Moriarty hardly felt whatever it was. Well, that's easy for me to say, but once again Carlisle giving Widnes yardage. And I think the Carlisle coach Cameron Bell should have something to say about these penalties. Perhaps understandable that Carlisle will look to knock Widnes about a little bit and knock them off the game, but at the moment they're just giving Widnes extra ground. Still struggling. Mr. Connolly shouted held. Hume to Holiday. Holiday looks for the gap. Just can't flick the ball out round the tackler to down the right. There's a great ball inside to Myler. Myler steps away from one, flicks up almost straight into the hands of Hadley, and Hadley would have been away with just a full back to beat, but the ball intercepted. Chip through, and just Davis to beat. Well, maybe a kick ahead would have been a better option. Although Barry Williams did have 2 men in support, if he could have taken that one cleanly. Well, that ball almost came out and was hooked back in by one of the Carlisle forwards, and Widnes lose that one against the head. So Widnes 6 points to 0 up, just about 24 minutes into this first half. Although Carlisle have had lots of attacking spells and a great deal of possession, they have to capitalise on that in the first half if they wish to do anything with it. Simon Knox looked for support. There was a shout, but there was nobody there. Quick play the ball. Kick straight to Davis. Davis beats the first tackle. Just short of the 10-metre line. Courier now from the half-back, looking for support. Paul Hume was turning to organise his next attackers. The next one up is Spruce. Spruce thought about slipping that ball out to David Hume. Holiday, Hume again in support, but again Holiday can't offload. 2 Widnes runners. Myler dummies one, steps into the gap. He's away, he's got Ers in support. He kicks ahead. Hadley and Ers chasing. Hadley's going to get there first. He kicks ahead, but has it gone too far? A disastrous kick by Adrian Hadley. All he needed to do was chip it over the line, but the bounce of the ball just forced him to kick it too far. A chance goes begging for Widnes. So perhaps not the first half that a number of Widnes supporters were hoping for, and perhaps the team as well. It would be nice to get a few points on the board and really turn on some style here in the second half, but I'm sure that Phil Larder is just looking to come away from this game with a win, concentrate on keeping the opposition shut out. 6 points to 0 wouldn't be a fantastic score, but it would do. Davis, again the Carlisle line comes up well organised, and Davis, well, you can hear the breath escape from his body as the 2 Carlisle players hit him at the same time. Now Paul Hume is behind the half-back to David. Senior for Milo, dips his shoulder, knocks off one. Spruce in support, steps away. Hume had just overran him as he looked to get the ball out. David Hume just came a touch too early. Holiday to Ayres, good tackle, and the final one for Widnes. Hume back to Davis. It's a high kick for Davis, tests Simon Fox, but well taken by the Carlisle fullback. The Widnes line is up well. So this game seesawing between the two sides, but really for the most part being played in between the two 20-metre lines. In other words, in the middle of the pitch. Not too many scoring opportunities as we hit the 30-minute mark. But here it could be one now for Carlisle. There's men in support, great cover tackle. Once again it's well, I thought it was David Hume, it's Hadley once again, as we've seen him do so often, covering so much ground, but a chance for Carlisle to move the ball out. Just got Davis to beat. Stuart Spruce is in there to assist. The final tackle, but Carlisle coming close now. Well, the big number 10, George Graham, ran across the line and then just lost the ball. But Widnes almost conceded one there. Moriarty. Harvey Howard comes for this one. Slips the ball out to Spruce. He's got Collier outside. Can Collier go the distance? He's got the legs. He steps back inside. Great tackle though, and not really any great support for Andy Collier. Richie Ayres done to the blind. He's got Spruce in support. David Hume's on the inside. Ayres is still going. Ayres is going for the sticks. Can he score? He steps again. He's just caught by the ankles. Widnes again moved the ball to the blind. A long ball out. And Stuart Spruce goes in for his second. Great try for Widnes. Some good handling. Coming from that break down the right hand side, initially by Andy Collier. Couldn't get the ball out to support, but Richie Ayres took it from the half-back himself, went down the wing, then stepped inside, almost had the legs to go the distance himself, just brought down 10 or 15 metres out, and then the ball moved across quickly to the right hand side. Stuart Spruce went in unopposed, 10 points to 0. So Jonathan Davis in a similar kicking position to his previous one, which went wide to the left. And this one again goes a similar way, 10 points to 0. So Carlisle again to these starts. Stuart Spruce off screen there was just holding the back of his leg and seemed to be rubbing his hamstring. Doesn't seem to be anything major, but just thought for a minute there that he may have done some damage. Maybe just a twitch. Holiday, good tackle by the Carlisle number 9, Michael Thomason. Ayres again looks to break that defence. This time he's just caught by his bootlaces by Grant Harris. Hume inside to Familo. Familo knocks down the first tackle. Flattened Kevin Pape there, the Carlisle captain. Holiday comes to the blind, slips it out to Darren Wright, but not anywhere for him to go. And Widnes now will look to kick, while Hume takes the ball himself, kicks it straight to the Carlisle winger. The Widnes line was ready for a deep kick. Carlisle moved the ball back to this side, and well, at one stage there was only Darren Wright, and they did have 2 men against him, but they just seemed to wander off into the distance somewhere. Kick comes in, that's a good kick, just breaks up the play. Well, doesn't quite find touch, it bounced infield for Davis. The Carlisle line comes up, Davis almost steps away, just caught by the ankles by Knox. Paul Hume put down by Tony Scott. Darren Wright's coming to the blind, so is Paul Moriarty. There's Moriarty, slips the ball out for Spruce. Has Spruce got the legs? He puts his head down, he could go, he's got some pace, he's got Collier in support. Collier looks for the inside pass to Darren Wright, but it bounces off the Carlisle defender. And the Widnes make a substitution. Richie Ayres is coming off, and I think, well, it is of course Steve McCurry who's coming on. Looks like, well, I thought that was maybe more of just a tactical substitution to give Ayres a breather. The lad is having a chat to Richard Ayres on the bench there, but he does appear to be receiving some attention from the Widnes physio. Davis behind the play, the ball can't step away. Wright looks to step inside, just lost his footing there. Hume dummies inside to Moriarty and finds a gap for himself. David Hume, he's got Spruce in support, he looks for Spruce. He can't get the ball out as he's turned by Simon Knox. Hume almost went the distance, and now another chance for Widnes to move the ball across to the left hand side. Myler, dummies short, dummies long, gets the ball out to Hume, and Paul Hume just forces his way over by the sticks. First one of the season for the Widnes captain. 14 points to 0, 5 minutes left in the first half. Davis makes no mistake with that one. 16 points to 0 for Widnes.
As conversion, John Davis, sponsored by Fergie Windows.
Minutes left in this. What? Couple of minutes left in this first half. Steve McCurry gets his first taste of the action. Hume to Holiday. Good straight drive by Les Holiday. Hume, Moriarty straightens up. Widnes now with men outside on the right hand side of the pitch. Not the best of balls to David Hume. Back inside to Myler, to Hume again. There's the gap, is it? Stuart Spruce steps through it, steps back inside, goes down the line. Good break by Spruce. Well, Carlisle play offside, but Mr. Connolly waves play on Tony Milo picks up the ball. The Carlisle line had come up very quickly there, Milo, with no option to pass. And the final tackle for the Chemics. Holiday kicks for the line, Hadley chases, all on, shouts Mr. Connolly. Simon Knox fumbles that one. Dreadful mistake by the Carlisle fullback. Been having such a good game as well up to now. And perhaps a final chance for Widnes to put some more distance between them and the visitors just before half time, as the Widnes schoolboys under 11s line up on the sidelines waiting to come on and entertain the crowd at half time. Widnes come out in possession. Right, simple stuff. Inside ball to Courier, off Davis. Courier thought about passing, decided first tackle, safety first. Milo, well, only Tony Milo could do that. McCurry keeps the ball alive to Spruce. Spruce turns on himself, eventually gets the ball out. Widnes move it to the left for Milo, well, just couldn't get the ball out. Hume, short ball to nobody, picked up well. Andy Courier, I think, the player in possession. Paul Hume dummies, steps away, looks for the support, but again just can't get the ball out. Right, good straight run by Harvey Howard. He's going for the line. He's just got the full back to beat. Can he burst over? Yes, he does. Power play by Harvey Howard. Straight and simple. As Widnes were throwing the ball about, nothing came of it. Harvey Howard just came into the picture, put his head down and just drove forward, powered over the Carlisle fullback. 20 points to 0. Harvey Howard receives the applause of the spectators, and Jonathan Davis prepares hopefully to put this one over just to the left of the posts. No mistakes about that one. 22 points to 0 for Widnes, and I think we'll hear the half-time who's to go any minute now.
And conversion number 1, Jonathan Davis, is coming for a few windows.
Very good window there. It's a good job going in doors, isn't it?
So Carlisle again, kick off. Credit to the Cumbrians so far, they've still kept coming, and although they're 22 points behind, I'm sure that they won't give up hope in the second half. Creditable performance so far. They've almost broke the Widnes defence at times, but now it's Widnes moving the ball. As Davis got the speed, he puts the ball out to Hadley. Hadley was a little bit short onto Davis. A great ball out. Now can Davis go the length? Clayton Friend covers well. Jonathan Davis just didn't have the legs, not the best of balls. David Hume wisely allows it to bounce, then picks up, and he brings the ball back to the left, which is where most of the Widnes support is. Stuart Spruce picks that one up, puts his head down. Great ball inside. Hadley, he's just got the full back to beat. He goes down him, and Adrian Hadley's going to score his first try of the season proper for Widnes, and he so deserves it. Excellent cover tackling in all the games he's played so far, and an excellent support play. He's made a couple of tries for Widnes, but that one coming from good work by Stuart Spruce, as Spruce took the ball up, turned his back and just took on the defence down the line, slips a lovely ball out to Hadley, and it's 26 points to 0 now for Widnes. Yeah. Hadley gets a warm round of applause. Widnes spectators especially appreciate the wingers down here at Norton Park. Had a great tradition of classy wingers, great entertainers. And the super kick from Davis, it just hits the post and knocks over. Great kick from Jonathan Davis. There is the half-time hooter. A good workmanlike first half from Widnes, not too spectacular. Opened with an early try by Stuart Spruce. Davis added a penalty and then Spruce grabbed his second. Paul Hume went over to add to the score, making it 16 points to 0 with Davis's conversion, and then Harvey Howard powered over close to the sticks. Davis added the conversion, that was 22-0, and then just on the half-time hooter, Adrian Hadley with his first try for the club in the full season. He went over after good work by Spruce, converted by Davis. The half-time score in this Lancashire Cup game at Norton Park is Widnes 28, Carlisle 0. In the competition, 28 points to 0 at half-time against Carlisle. And Widnes early looking to open up the game. Long ball in their own half. Tony Myler steps inside. Harvey Howard powers forward, 3 Carlisle tacklers clinging onto him. Ball back for Davis. Doesn't put it high, puts it deep. Bounces towards the dead ball line, but Fox wisely not taking any chances, fields it behind the line, makes 10 metres. Grant Harris well tackled by Currier coming in off the wing, assisted by McCurry and Hume. Ian Armstrong. Fox is coming off the wing, looking to do something, just scrambles away from Holiday. Barry Williams, head down, drives forward. The final tackle for Carlisle. The ball back to Fox. A high kick, Davis should make that. It bounces away from him, straight to Moriarty. Moriarty fields it well, quick pass to Davis. Davis steps away, finds a gap, just couldn't go inside. Ian Armstrong made the tackle eventually. Well, suspicion of holding down there by the Carlisle tacklers. McCurry got the best of balls there. There was not really a gap for Holiday to hit. Hume out to David Hume. Tony Myler dummies, looks for the inside ball. He's got McCurry there. Still looks to keep the ball alive. Just couldn't do it. The final tackle for Widnes. Hume dummied for the kick, and Stuart Spruce. Great ball inside to Currier. Currier bounces it down. Moriarty just can't pick it up. The turnover, a great ball from Stuart Spruce. He looked as if he was going to go for his third himself, and he just slipped it to Currier. Currier just couldn't get it out cleanly to Paul Moriarty, and the big man just couldn't get down to pick it up cleanly off the floor. Fox, well, a Carlisle player went down. The touch judges come on. Steve George Ellis is the player down. Not too sure what happened as Carlisle looked to move the ball away. Mr. Golden speaks to Mr. Connolly. George Ellis looks to be in some difficulty, almost out cold, I think. Just shakes his head as he comes to. Paul Moriarty being spoken to by Mr. Connolly. Paul Hume is in there. Penalty goes to Carlisle. Get down and stay down, otherwise we'll get you kicked out. Kicking me the chops and just get So the penalty goes to Carlisle. A couple of Carlisle supporters here made the long journey down, or maybe Indigenous Cumbrians living in Widnes. There is a small amount of vocal support for the visitors. That's a good break by George Graham. Looks for support, gets the ball out, it goes back, fumbled again, I think it still went back. Widnes come up in possession. Carlisle at least looking to keep the ball alive and salvage something. I'm sure that the aim is to get some points on the board. Moriarty can't step out the tackle, almost managed to offload. Hume gets it deep to Holiday. Holiday flicks over the top to Faimalo. Faimalo puts his head down. Great run from Faimalo. Inside to Hadley. Hadley keeps the ball alive to Darren Wright. Wright just brought down. And now Widnes with a long line. Courier's come into it. Courier dummies, slips it back inside. Tony Marley just can't take it. The ball knocked back by McCurry, picked up by Holiday. Holiday, perilous ball to Harvey Howard, but Howard keeps hold. Hands off his own player and finds a gap as well. Goes for the line. Mr. Connolly waved play on. The final tackle. Can Widnes move it out wide? Hume looks for the... Well, almost looked for the long ball, then looked for the line. The ball flicked out. Picked up by Steve George Ellis. He thought about slipping out the pass. Malcolm Thomason makes ground from the play the ball. Moriarty looks to have taken a knock. Seems to be okay. That ball bobbled away from George Ellis round the back. So the penalty goes to Widnes, and Paul Moriarty has left the pitch. Widnes have the chairs back on. And the Widnes attack pushes forward once again. For Milo, back to Hume. Hume gives the long ball out to Holiday. Holiday slips out a great ball to Darren Wright. Wright keeps the ball alive. Has just tackled short. He just couldn't reach out with the ball. Almost thought about the double movement because he could have reached on his second attempt. While the crowd shouts for offside, Mr. Connolly doesn't give it, but he does give the knock on. So Widnes will get 6 more. Widnes. David Hume having difficulty there at the scrum, looks at Mr. Connolly as if to say, give us a fair chance. But Widnes come out now. Short ball from Holiday. Hume's over on his back, and that'll be a scrum with Carlisle to feed. Should be a 10-metre scrum with Carlisle to feed. Well, in fact, it's Widnes to feed. Holiday looks for the long ball. Hadley's out there on his own. And the touch judge comes on. He spotted something in that tackle. He was looking closely as the tackle was made. And he comes on to have a word with Mr. Connolly.
The double throw him off 10 times, and
Someone's even up there. Penalty goes to Widnes. Hadley comes in off the wing, pushes Widnes close to the line. Hume goes straight, can't slip the ball out, covered by 3 Carlisle players. Hume dummies and catches the Carlisle line moving up. Great try by Paul Hume. Unusually quick thinking for Hume. I'm sure they won't mind me saying that. But Hume saw that the Carlisle line was moving up very quickly and allowed to do so by Mr. Connolly. Almost suspicion of offside, but as the line moved up quickly, Hume just sold the dummy and went to the blind and just managed to force the ball over. Great try, good thinking by Paul Hume. For his second one of the match, 32 points to 0 now for Widnes. 149, what tape's that for? Where have we got to take this?
Going down and left his hand.
So Jonathan Davis, 8 metres in from the touch. Great kick by Davis. Superb conversion. 34 points to 0 for Widnes. Mr. Connolly has stopped the clock and he calls, I think that's probably Kevin Pape, the captain, that he's speaking to. Gary Charlton's there as well. Starts the clock again, not too sure what that was all about. Fox kicks off, taken well by Collier, comes crossfield and then straightens up. Considers hit hard. Paul Hume again makes ground from the play of the ball. He's done that so many times this season, and he takes the hand off. He's got urgent support. Great ball out. McCully's going for the line. Can McCully make it? Great try by the Widnes substitute. What a fantastic try from Widnes. Steve McCully gets his second try of the season. Once again showing great pace and determination. But that all coming from that superb break by Paul Hume. He just relishing this new role as captain and being at the acting half-back position also. He just took that one from the play of the ball, put his head down, a superb handoff. He had Richie Ayres in support as ever. Great support play by Ayres, and Ayres just flicked the ball out to Steve McCully. McCully just did a Martin a fire type kick as he sprinted towards the line. 38 points to 0 for Widnes, with a fairly simple kick for Jonathan Davis. Fairly simple, he won't get many more simple ones than that this season. 10 metres out right in front of the sticks, slots that one over. 40 points to 0. So Fox again kicks off. This time Collier can't take it. Good kick by Fox into space. Andy Collier attempting to take it on the full. Just couldn't get there. Carlisle now just playing for pride. And I'm sure they would love to put some points on the board. Widnes also playing for pride, playing for determination to complete a shutout. Great tackle. It's been one-way stuff so far in this half. Widnes, 2 quick tries, really tearing apart this Carlisle defence. But Carlisle still keep the ball alive. Then long ball out, chip through. And Collier can't get there first. I think that was the number 4, Steve George Ellis. Or perhaps Kevin Pate, but impossible to see the numbers from this distance. I'm sure that the people on the scoreboard will have just as little idea as I do who actually scored that until he comes back up this end. But just as I was saying, it was all one-way stuff. Carlisle moved the ball about well, kept the ball alive. Intelligent little chip through, and Andy Collier just couldn't get there as the ball bobbled away from him. I think it was one of the Carlisle centres. Yes, Kevin Pate, the scoreboard just announces it, having the benefit of walkie-talkies and people down at that end. So 40 points to 4. Carlisle salvaged something at least. Barry Williams with a difficult touchline kick. Hits it well, it sails towards the sticks, but just not the distance. 40 points to 4. Widnes still, of course, with Kurt Sorensen on the bench available to bring on if needed. But I wouldn't mind betting that Kurt would be quite happy to sit this one out and have a day off work for this Sunday. Malcolm Thomason takes the ball away. Barry Williams goes to the blind by himself, looks for support. Nearly thought about passing to Harris, but not much point. Fox has come into centre field doing a lot of work at the moment, but the ball goes loose. Carlisle come up in possession. Just a couple of tackles left. Again, the ball goes to the right hand side. Risky ball, forward pass surely. Mr. Conley allows play to go on. The final tackle. Lovely chip over the top, and an unlucky bounce. It almost bounced straight up into the hands of the Carlisle player, but not quite. Intelligent chip though, caught Widnes on the hop. Tony Myler goes across the field, finds a gap, great support from Collier. Collier, just couldn't get away from the cover tackle. And now Widnes move it back long to the left. Myler again puts his head down, finds some space, lovely ball out, but just too low for Vittiers to take. Two good bursts by Tony Myler. Always seems to come back to match fitness very quickly. Been dogged by injury, of course, throughout his career, but when he does come back, just slots in. It's almost as if he's never been away. Tony Scott slips and eventually is hurled to the ground by Stuart Spruce. Strong lad, Stuart Spruce. Looks a little slight from a distance, but does a lot of upper body work. Another Carlisle player down injured. And it looks like a stretcher job. Witness physio signals for the stretcher as she came on to attend to the Carlisle player. The Carlisle physio was already signalling. Well, it's been left to one of the little lads to actually pass the stretcher on. There is an ambulance crew here, but whether it's their job or not to come on, I don't know. Eventually the stretcher comes on. Just mentioning Stuart's Blues, 6'1" and 14 stone odd. So the game just held up while the Carlisle player is stretched off. Not a nice sight to see in any game. Receives a well-deserved round of applause. And Peter Lunt comes back on. I don't know who the player is that's gone off. There's been no announcement. I'm just looking across the Carlisle back line. Possibly I thought for a minute it was a loose forward, Gary Charlton, but he's in the line. The stretcher just leaving the pitch at the far end as it just heads towards the tunnel. Mr. Connolly just waiting for the stretcher bearers to clear from the pitch before allowing the game to proceed. So the game underway again with Barry Williams in possession. The ball slipped out to Fox. Kevin Fox couldn't make any further ground. Chip, well, that went here, there and everywhere. Bounced off Tony Myler's knee. Signalled by Mr. Connolly, it wasn't a knock on, it hit him on the knee. And now a chance for Widnes. Good shot running from Ayres. He bobbled that one though, just managed to hang on to it as he came short off Holiday into the gap. Familo steps again. Can't get anywhere. Hume, long ball out, Myler dummies inside, now a great ball outside to Davis. Davis steps once, gives the ball to Andy Courier, and Courier goes in for a simple one under the posts. Great slide for Widnes. Andy Courier claims the score, but that all coming really from the superb interplay between Tony Myler and Jonathan Davis. What an exciting prospect it is to have Tony Myler back in the team, just giving that extra dimension. Another option for coach Phil Larder. He dummied inside to nobody virtually, and then Jonathan Davis just pops up on the outside. Looked like a set plan between the two Widnes players. Davis sidestepped a couple of times, probably could have done the job himself, but decided to take no chances, pops it up to Andy Courier and just skips that one over the post. 46 points to 4 for Widnes. What tape's this in? No, 4 still.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Fox certainly getting plenty of kick-off practice. Widnes certainly getting plenty of practice in receiving the kick-offs, and Richie Ayres makes ground from that one. A great burst from Ayres. He won't stop, just keeps his knees pumping. Breaks out of the first, breaks out of the second. Eventually brought down, well, knock on given Paul Hume, I think, appealing to Mr. Connolly for offside against the Carlisle player. But Mr. Connolly is not impressed Carlisle come up with possession. Peter Lunt drives in, brought down. Fox done some great hard work in the middle of the field since coming into centre field with Phil Manning on the wing. The ball goes loose. I think the Widnes player feeling that he was offside, so he didn't touch the ball, but Widnes still penalised. Can't see the referee's signal, he's surrounded by players, but the penalty goes to Carlisle. It's turned out into a nice sunny afternoon here at Norton Park, and fair amounts of entertainment for those people who have made the effort to come out and stand in the sunshine or sit in the sunshine. I personally think that people who are staying away at the moment are missing the birth of a new Widnes team, a new style of Widnes play, and I think we can expect to see reasonably good things from Widnes in the coming seasons once the style becomes established. Meanwhile, Carlisle have forced their way over for the try, and once again I apologise that I can't immediately say who that is, but it's impossible to see from this scoreboard end down there what the numbers are on the Carlisle players' backs. And that makes it 46 points to 8. I think it was possibly Peter Lunt or Barry Williams that went over. No doubt the scoreboard operator is at this very moment on his walkie-talkie, asking any of the stewards if they can identify the player. So another consolation for Carlisle, who we still don't know who scored it. Barry Williams makes a mess of the kick. 46 points to 8.
The video you bastard.
So it's 46 points to 8. A missed conversion. Try scored for Carlisle by an unidentified player. Actually, I'm sure that on the video it will be clear in the close-up who scored. But Widnes not happy about conceding that second try. George Graham takes the ball in. The wind beginning to whip up here slightly. Kelly Charlton look for the long ball, slips out a good one-handed pass, but Andy Currier charged in off his wing. It's the final tackle for Carlisle. Ball back to Knox, puts the low one in, almost bounced off Currier, goes away from Hume. Hume throws a long ball to Jonathan Davis. Davis looks for the gap, steps back in, steps again, eventually put to ground. And Carlisle penalised. Widnes to make a double substitution. Kurt Sorensen and Paul Moriarty to come on, and Cine for Milo, Les Holiday come off to a well-deserved round of applause inside the last quarter of this first round Lancashire Cup game. Move the ball to the far side of the field as we look. Inside ball to Sorensen, his first touch of the ball, he breaks the tackle. Nearly slipped out the pass. Now Widnes open the line out. Short kick through, Spruce is chasing. Bounces, awkward bounce. David Hume can't quite get there. It must be a knock on. Yes, Mr. Conley just waiting to see what came from that knock on. It's a scrum 10 metres in, or 10 metres out from the Carlisle line. The knock on by Grant Harris. David Hume. Davis comes to the blind. Taken above the shoulders, the ball kicked in to touch. Touch just signals that the ball came off Jonathan Davis, I think. So Carlisle get the feed. The Widnes crowd not happy with that. Booing the touch judge, Mr. Golden. And again, it's Kevin Fox taking the ball from the scrum. Phil Manning can't breach the Widnes line. Lots of talking in the Widnes line, good communication between the players, but Charlton finds a way through, and he's still going, he's got support. Knox kicks ahead. Jonathan Davis takes that well with one hand. Skips away from the first tackle, clears the line. Good play by Davis. The Carlisle player down injured on the touchline. Well, maybe not injured, maybe just in despair. Gets back to his feet. Sorensen again steps away from the first tackle. Moriarty slips out the ball, but not the best of balls. Carlisle come up in possession, there's space on the outside. A great tackle just by the bootlaces by Hadley, but then the penalty given away for interfering at the play of the ball, not allowing the player to play the ball. So Carlisle again push the Widnes line inside the final minutes, the final stages of this first round Lancashire Cup game between Widnes and Carlisle. 46 points to 8 for Widnes. I think we've identified the last Carlisle scorer as Barry Williams, the Welshman from Workington. But Carlisle still pushing the Widnes line, a tip through. Taken, and Stuart Spruce, I think that is down the right, in fact, in the distance, is tackled over the line, so Jonathan Davis to drop out under the sticks. Mammoth kick from Davis, that's a super kick. Bounces up eventually for Simon Knox. Knox kicks ahead. Not too sure what he was hoping to gain from that. Really a bit optimistic by Knox. Gives possession back to Widnes. Down on the right, looks to make some ground. Inside ball, dummied to Kurt Sorensen. Eventually Steve McCurry knocked on the ball. Picked up by Carlisle. The referee had waved back to one, and then the Carlisle player knocked on. It must be a Widnes feed. Well, he's given the feed to Carlisle. He seemed to say that Carlisle had gained some advantage, but he allowed play to go on. Just as he waved back to one, the Carlisle player knocked on. However, time ticks away as we approach the final minutes of the match. Widnes 46 points, Carlisle 8. That was on Wednesday, isn't it? So Widnes will be into the hat for the second round draw. The ball just bounces into touch as Williams attempts to keep it alive. I think actually that the next round is in midweek on a Wednesday night of this competition. Stewart's Blues finds a gap in the Widnes 22, gets out a lovely ball to Jonathan Davis, and Jonathan Davis races for the line. The Carlisle chaser holds his groin as he chases Davis. Great slide for Widnes. Stewart's Blues was hit hard as he offloaded that ball to Jonathan Davis, but that's where it came from. Stewart's Blues took the ball inside his own 20-metre line and just burst through the line, handed a lovely ball to Jonathan Davis, and Davis just put his head down, went for the line, and the Carlisle cover was never going to make it. So Widnes notch up the half century, 50 points to 8. Davis pops that one over, 52-8. Fox this time kicks that one straight out, so it's a penalty to Widnes on the halfway line. Jonathan Davis to kick for touch. Sorensen comes onto that one with a short run, short burst by Sorensen. Ritier's burst through, he's looking to score again. Yeah, I'm sure others would love to add to his tally today. Devon Wright, lovely ball out, Hadley hands onto it, just can't make the line. Scrambled as he hit the ground, but just couldn't stretch out with the ball. Did well to hang on to it actually. Jonathan Davis now goes for the corner, flicks the ball back, Devon Wright picks up, steps it out to Myler. What will Myler do? Steps away from one, gets a lovely ball out to Moriarty to Andy Collier. Collier drops the ball backwards, Kurt Sorensen bends down well to pick that one up. Lovely ball inside to Spruce. Spruce goes for the line, caught down the shoulders, he's close to touch. His foot, I think his foot just went in touch. Stuart Spruce looks up in disbelief, the crowd boo, but his foot did go close to touch. It must have gone very close. In fact, obviously the linesman saying it touched, and he's the closest person. Fox again takes the ball away from the scrum. Eddie Southwell decides to make ground, but loses the ball, and Carlisle give up possession, but Widnes lose possession. The ball kicked away, play on Well, it's all getting a bit scrappy now. The ball again goes loose. Jonathan Davis goes down well on that. And, well, which one of the first knock-ons is Mr. Connolly talking about, I wonder? Carlisle player down injured. That ball could have been anybody's. In the end, it was nobody's. And I think Mr. Connolly is awarding the feed to Carlisle. And a fair game, Mr. Connolly is fairly experienced referee. One of a set of twins, in fact, who are both top-class referees. Myler tips over the top. Well, could have gone anywhere, that one. Fielded by Carlisle. Fox has worked very hard for Carlisle and he makes a break there. Slips out a lovely ball, overhead pass. Great tackle, but good attacking again from Carlisle. Kevin Fox, possibly being Carlisle's man of the match, worked very hard in centre field. Had very little reward for his efforts. So Carlisle lose possession. Scrum feed goes to Widnes. Spruce knocks away from the first tackle. Adrian Hadley it was, in fact, and he limps as he gets out of that tackle. Paul Moriarty puts his head down. Can he go the distance? He gets the ball out to Darren Wright. Wright keeps his feet. Play on. David Hume now has Hume got the legs. Lovely ball out to Courier, but a forward pass. David Hume lies prostrate on the ground. And there goes the final hooter. It's immaterial as it happens. Widnes go into the draw for the second round of the Lancashire Cup. Good opening for Widnes. It was 28 points to 0 at half-time with tries from Spruce, penalty from Davis, further tries, another one for Spruce, one for Paul Hume, Harvey Howard and Adrian Hadley is first for the club in the campaign proper. 3 further conversions from Davis made it 28-0. Then in the second half, well, Paul Hume added to the Widnes score, again converted by Davis. McCurry did likewise, and then Pate pulled one back for Carlisle unconverted. Courier added another one for Widnes, which again was converted by Davis, before Williams crossed for Carlisle to make it 46-8, and then Jonathan Davis added to his 8 goals after converting his own try to make the final score here at Norton Park in the first round of the Lancashire Cup. Widnes 52 points, Carlisle 8.